Hey, good to see everybody again. I don't believe we're going to be streaming a game on this time, so yeah, I wanted to cover a really serious issue, and I didn't want to muddle it with a bunch of fun and games and whatnot, because yeah, well, I'm going to keep this stream kind of relatively short and sweet, and be like my my David Hunter stream, you could say. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Midnight Mechanic. Today we are covering issue 1. So for layman's, that's why we're going to cover this, because if you're not in the know and you're just now hearing about this and you're going to see it on the news and everything about, what should I do? Do I vote yes? Do I vote no? Well, let's just start from the beginning. As if you were just looking this up. So let's get tab open and yeah. Okay. All right. Is it gonna work? Okay. Wait. All right. So first thing comes up. Not too sure if it's capturing it right here. Whoa. Need that. It's not scrolling. Let me do this differently. Sorry, guys. Get rid of it. Yeah, we need to go display screen capture. Okay. Where is it at? Display capture. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Now it'll work. I don't know why. There we go. All right. So sorry, guys. Hang on. I'm trying to fix this. There we go. All right. So this is what comes up first thing off when you look up Ohio issue 1, which is good. It's not going to be trying to be all convoluted and shit. First thing should come up is Ohio Secretary of State.gov. Obviously, a .gov website should come up. If you don't see a .gov, be worried. State issue 1. This is layman's terms. This is all PDF here. Frank LaRose, retired Secretary of State. I, Frank LaRose, consider the file printed within his full text, ballot language, explanation, arguments that were certified by the Ohio Ballot Board or filed with the Secretary of State as prescribed by law for a constitutional amendment proposed by a joint resolution of Ohio General Assembly pursuant to Article 16, Section 1 of the Ohio Constitution. Testimony were 4. I have subscribed by name in Columbus, Ohio, the 13th day of June 2023. So this was back in, they were planning this since June. In addition to certifying the following state issue for the special election occurring August 8th, 2023, RC 3505.062 G and Ohio Constitution, Article 2, Section 1. G requires Secretary of State Frank LaRose to contract for the publication of this information once a week for 3 consecutive weeks preceding the election and at least one newspaper of general circulation in each county of the state. Okay, cool. So he did that. Okay, ballot. Okay, voting information you can trust. Visit voteohio.gov. Table of contents. Issue 1. Elevating the standards to qualify for an initiated constitutional amendment and to pass a constitutional amendment. Now, this only applies to Ohio. This is not like, federal constitution. Although it possibly could apply to that. We'll see. If the initiative goes forward and everybody says yes, then they might even start doing shit like that, which, isn't good. Table of contents, ballot language. All right, let's see here. Now, this is ballot language. This is the first thing you're going to see when you get the ballot in the voting booth right here. Ballot language. Proposed constitutional amendment elevating the standards qualified for an initiated constitutional amendment and to pass a constitutional amendment. Proposed by a joint resolution of General Assembly to amend Section 1B, 1E, and 1G of Article 2 and Sections 1 and 3 of Article 16 of the Constitution of the State of Ohio. A majority yes vote is necessary for the amendment to pass. Here's where it gets fucking ironic. Okay? We haven't got to it yet, but that majority yes vote will become ironic here pretty soon. The proposed amendment would require any proposed amendment to the Constitution of the State of Ohio receive the approval of at least 60% of eligible voters voting on a proposed amendment. So 60% of the Ohio population will need to vote on this proposed amendment. 60% of eligible voters, the voter population, would need to vote on any amendment to the Constitution. Require the initiative petition filed on or after January 1st, 2024, with the Secretary of State proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio, be signed by at least 5% of the electors of each county based on a total vote in each county for governor and in the last preceding election. Okay, it's going to get a little fucky here. This is where it gets a little... So, any initiative petition filed on or after January 1st, 2024 with the Secretary of State proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio be signed by at least 5% of the electors. So, 5% of the electors of each county. There are what? How many counties in Ohio? Last I checked, it was 88 counties. I want to double check, right? Actually, I should. I'm debating between 83 or 88. It's like, I can't remember. This is your typical, voter right here. So... yeah, 88. Had to make sure. I don't know where I was thinking 83. I don't know. That's weird. But I don't know why I'm thinking 83. Where the fuck am I thinking 83 from? So 5% of the electors of each county. There's 88 counties. 5% of the electors based on a total vote in the county for governor in the last preceding election. Total vote in each county for governor. Well, who won last time? A conservative. So what? It would be based on the total vote in each county for governor. I'm a little confused on that because we're voting on an issue, not necessarily who's running for governor. That just kind of smells like, oh, well, since DeWine is in office, thus majority vote and some kind of convoluted thought process of all we need is 5% of each county, and since a majority of the counties voted for Mike DeWine, it's an automatic win. Something ain't right there. Something ain't quite mathing, especially when it comes to issues versus candidates. Candidates are a completely different thing compared to issues, and to start conflating the two to where candidacy defines the issues. Oh, well, yeah, something ain't right there. Something ain't mathing. Specify the additional signatures may not be added to an initiative petition proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio that is filed with Secretary of State on or after January 1st, 2024, proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio. So additional signatures won't be added, so they're trying to undermine it to where, oh, you can't add additional signatures. Like, petitions and grassroots movements. If passed, the amendment will be effective immediately. Shall the amendment be approved? And then there's your little explanation for issue 1. Issue 1 asks eligible Ohio voters consider an amendment to the Constitution of the State of Ohio proposed by a 2/3 majority of Ohio General Assembly. The amendment, okay, that's still majority vote. The amendment, if approved, would elevate the standards by which the Constitution of the State of Ohio may be amended. Any newly proposed constitutional amendment placed on statewide ballot must receive at least 60% of the vote to be approved. Any initiated petition proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio that is filed with Secretary of State on or after January 1st, 2024 must contain the signatures of at least 5% of the eligible voters residing in each county of the state. So they have to go to each and every county in the state to get at least 5% of the signatures of eligible voters residing in each county. %. Let's do some math here. $88 by 5%. What? Let's see here. 0.05. What would that be? I wouldn't even. I'm not even. I would need population numbers of each and every county to be able to figure out 5% of each and every one of them. So I'm just taking 88 and taking 5% of 88. $100,000. Let's go a little bit conservative here. Let's go. Shit. Franklin County is going to have a lot more population than. Oh my God! You see why it's not mathing? You see why it's not mathing? Franklin County is going to have more population density than any surrounding county. We're a rural state. You want to get 5% of each county? You do realize we live in fucking Amish country, right? You want to talk about remoteness where there's less than maybe 1,000 people per square mile? So your population dense counties, Franklin County, Fairfield County, let's see here, Hocking, maybe, if you want to consider Logan, which, major city there, cool, whatever. But Central Ohio, all the resound, you got your Ross County, you got your Franklin County, you got all those surrounding counties. It ain't gonna math. It ain't gonna math. So I am going to look at a population density map here pretty soon. I'm going to go by general 100,000 people. Times that by 88 counties. That's 880,000 people. 800. No, wait, hang on, sorry. 8,800,000. Yep. Take 5% of that. So what's 5%? 0.05 of 80. You would need 440,000. I'm gonna divide. That's by 88. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna divide that by. Oh, we can already kind of do the math here. It was what, 4.4. So let's say you needed like 4,400 votes per county. You ain't gonna do that, dude. You ain't gonna do that. It ain't mathing. They initiate a petition preventing amendment Constitution of the State of Ohio vote with the Secretary of State. Okay, finally, an amendment specifies new signatures may not be added to the initiative petition proposing to amend the Constitution of the State of Ohio once it has been filed with Secretary of State on or after January 1st, 2024. Yep, so no additional signatures, they just cut it off. Cool, whatever, don't care. Vote yes on issue 1. This is so, oh my God. This is so fucked. Empower the people, protect the Constitution. You will see in every single advertisement, every campaign advertisement for issue 1 to vote yes on it. Protect the Constitution, protect the Constitution, protect the Constitution. I'm sorry, the Constitution's already been protected. So if it's a matter of protection of the Constitution, they don't want the Constitution to be amended. That's what I'm gathering from this. So a non-amendable Constitution of Ohio, oh, what's that mean? It means a completely locked in state. It means nothing happens. Want some shit to change? Well, I'm sorry, you need 60%. That's still majority rule, you know. But now you got to go to each and every county, and you got to sit there and do math in your head to try to figure out, I mean, I guess it does give that one person living out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere at least a little bit more power, because they can decide the county vote. Because 5%, well, as population density decreases in certain counties, oh, now they got more voting power. Oh, wait, what's that mean? What's that mean? Rural Americans, yes, they have more power. What do rural Americans typically vote by? Rural Americans typically vote Republican. That's why they want this. Because they understand that the population dense counties, i.e. the cities, typically vote blue. And they're population rich, which means if they get majority rule, it's blue all the time. And Republicans don't like that. Because, well, Republicans hardly ever propose anything that's beneficial to humanity, so they're like, we don't like that. That kind of kicks us out of power. Because you live in a slightly more educated inner city, highly population dense area, yeah, those kids are going to college and understanding things. Rural Americans aren't going to college. Not typically, and if they do, they're getting scholarships from rural America. They're getting scholarships from companies that want to keep on burning fossil fuels. Yeah, that's a thing. A yes vote on issue 1 protects our Constitution from deep-pocketed, out-of-state interests. Well, that's funny, because guess who's proposing this whole thing? Republicans. Out-of-state Republicans, specifically. There's some out-of-state Republicans that are pushing this issue. And you don't think they got deep pockets? Name one poor conservative. Name one poor conservative that has a business and is in politics. Yeah, kind of hard to find. By passing issue 1, people will ensure constitutional changes are widely accepted and declare that Ohio's constitution is not for sale. Currently, special interests target Ohio, seeking to inject their own personal views and objectives into our state's most sacred document. See, they're not saying what's going on here, why they're wanting to do this. They're just saying special interests, seeking to inject their own personal views, as if Republicans never injected their own personal views and objectives into our state, into our constitution. Because Ohio is one of the few states that allow these interests to directly enshrine their social preferences and corporate motives in the Constitution at the same threshold as everyday laws. Common sense tells us this should not be the case. What? I don't... Social preferences, I know what they're going for on that, but corporate motives, when? And what's to stop corporate motives from injecting themselves into the Ohio Constitution if I do vote yes? Our constitutional rights be broadly supported and shielded from well-financed special interests. I love that. I love that. I love how they say well-financed special interests. Like, there's not any well-financed Republicans out there. What's going on here? Come on, be honest. This thing is woefully dishonest, because it's like, we're not going to say exactly, because we can't. Because as soon as we do, you're going to vote no on it. They know what the fuck they're doing. Voting yes on issue 1 strengthens our Constitution by elevating the standard, by raising the threshold for constitutional amendments to 60%. The people will ensure amendments have widespread support until special interests in our Constitution is not up for grabs. This will protect the Ohio Constitution similar to the way Ohio's Constitution has been protected since our country's founding. But you're sure about that? I don't see how it would protect the Constitution. But, I mean, at least maybe they're going to go for consensus kind of motive here. Now, I'm a big advocate for consensus, but something smells kind of fishy. Now, with consensus, you have transparency. This is not transparent. 60%, so yeah, it kind of prevents constitutional amendments from getting passed. Basically, restricts constitutional movement. Now, they would sit there and advocate that the Constitution of the United States of America does not get amended. So, status quo, familiar? Yeah, status quo. Yeah. By requiring signatures from voters in every county, special interests will no longer be able to cherry pick where to gather signatures. Instead, starting January 1st, 2024, a diverse and representative population of Ohioans will determine whether proposed amendments appear on the ballot. I know what that is. They know what population density means. And yes, it does give people in rural America more power. It's not a bad thing, but this is not how you go by it. Now, it would be interesting to see people try to go out of their way to go to counties that are the least population dense. But, you know, now you got to go out of your way and try to educate every single Ohioan when you don't really have the tool set to do that. As much as I would love the Ohio population to be educated, it's not really the case right now. So a lot of people in rural America will vote conservative. So Democrats trying to get something passed, and they got to go to rural America, they know what's going to happen. They know. They're like, eh. But that's not to say that people in rural America, I was living in rural America. There are some educated people in rural America. So, yeah, they deserve a voice too. It's just that the Democrats aren't going to go out of their way to do that. This is just saying, well, we know where the voters are at. Eliminating second bites at the apple by restricting do-overs on signature submissions. Starting January 1st, 2024, special interests will have one chance to play by the rules when gathering signatures to place proposed amendments on a ballot. We, the people, must have our voices heard on August 8th. Empower yourself and your fellow Ohioans. Protect the Constitution. Vote yes on issue 1. Vote yes argument prepared by Representative Brian Stewart and Senator Rob McCauley. All right. Brian Stewart, Rob McCauley, Ohio State Senator. All right, so we got Brian Stewart, District 12, Asheville. Asheville's pretty, pretty remote. Biography, let's see here. Second term. And critical public service, law practice, law office of Brian Stewart, LLC in Circleville. Circleville is pretty, pretty rural. It prides itself as being pretty rural compared to cities of similar, size. Lancaster, about the same size, but Circleville has Pumpkin Show, and and it's like more hometown country kind of place. He is admitted to practice before the federal U.S. District Courts in Ohio, the 6th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, the U.S. Tax Court, and also representing clients before the U.S. Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. Okay, so he's a lawyer. Representative Stewart enlisted for active duty in the Army after experiencing 9/11 as a high school senior. He was an infantry veteran of Iraq War. Okay, combat infantry's badge. Okay, yeah, so he went and joined the war without asking questions. He went and joined the war because he was like, oh, this is 9/11. So, yeah, we went and invaded Iraq looking for those non-existent weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, he's a country boy. Yep. Prides himself as being intelligent, and from what I see here, not very. He didn't bother questioning anything. He didn't investigate anything about that whole thing. and he just like, well, I'm going to go join the army, which is the nationalist thing to do, you know. Macaulay, okay, center. What do you got here? Early voting. So yes, early voting. Recognizes Wayne Trace High School track champs, of course. Track stars, state champion wrestlers. So sports, and more sports. Bread and circuses. I'm not. With 11 counties in the Northwest Ohio District, Senator McCauley represents more counties than any other member. Great. That's just great. 11 counties. So that's 11 counties with people in them that are being really poorly represented here by this guy here. Graduated of Ohio State University and University of Toledo College of Law. Senator McCauley and his family live in Napoleon. Prior to joining the legislature, Senator McCauley led economic and workforce development efforts for Henry and Williams counties. Well, that's cool. That's good. Okay, so this is his district. Kind of tails itself over here. And he doesn't represent Toledo. That's somebody different. Defiance, Van Wert. Actually, this is the border right here. Here's Indiana, so not Lima. Findlay does. Yeah, Defiance, Van Wert, and Findlay. Mixed bag. That's why he's a little more, I don't know, more urban-esque biography here. Serving in the Ohio State Senate after appointment in December 2017, represents the 1st Senate District, which includes Defiance, Hancock, Hardin, Henry, Fulton, Paulding, Putnam, Van Wert, and Williams counties, as well as being part of Logan County. He was elected as a part of Senate colleagues, served as Senate Majority Floor Leader for the 135th General Assembly. McCauley in high school in 2003. University, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a major in finance. Okay. He then attended the University of Toledo College of Law and graduated with a Juris Doctorate in 2010. First being appointed as a Senate representative for Senate House District. Okay. Former trustee of the Ohio Fallen Heroes Memorial Sudbury, Ohio. Founders of most men and women died in the War of Terror. Smelling something. We have an Iraq War veteran, and then we got this guy. Chances are they know each other personally, not just as colleagues, but other examples of community involvement include serving as trustee of the Henry County Community Foundation, board member for the Henry County Board of Development of Disabilities, member of the OSU Alumni Club of Northwest Ohio, and a board member of the Center for Child and Family Advocacy. Okay. And why is he a Republican? Why? Why do these people that get educated from college then to say, you know, it'd be a good idea? I want to be a fucking idiot today. I think I'm going to vote Republican. Instead of questioning everything that's been presented to me in life and sitting there and being like, maybe organized religion is a bad thing. Nah. I'm going to go vote Republican. 38 years. He's only 6 years older than me. Of course, the difference between me and him is, Well, he went to college. I didn't. And yet I questioned everything. Ohio Senate. How long has he been in office? Since 2017. Hey, I'm just glad he's not one of my representatives. Because, I represent myself. Because perks of being an anarchist, you get to represent yourself. Because I don't think anybody else really has my thought processes. So that's that. All right. We got to go back up here. Argument against issue 1. Vote no on issue 1. This amendment would destroy citizen-driven ballot initiatives, as we know them, upending our right to make decisions that directly impact our lives. See? It takes away our freedom by undermining the sacred principle of one person, one vote, and destroys majority rule in Ohio. I mean, it's still majority rule, 60%. Instead of 51%, it's 60%. But you would have to go out of your way to each and every county and tally everything up, and it would take longer, and you know what population density is. Both of these people know what population density is. The people that vote no, people that vote yes, they know what population density means. They know how cities vote. They know what's going on. Okay. So both of these people on the vote yes, those are both conservatives, both Republicans. And yeah, they want to make it to where it's more difficult to propose ballots. Now, more difficult, but that also works against them. So it's not a matter of, we only want it to where only Republicans would win. Although there was something about that whole 5% with, here's your fine print. What was it? Must contain signatures of 5% of the eligible voters residing in each county of the state. Finally, the amendment specifies new signatures. Okay, there was something about the governor. Oh, here we go. 5% of the electors of each county based on a total vote in a county for governor in the last preceding election. So if you didn't vote for governor, you're not considered part of the 5%? That's what that sounds like. Last year, Ohio politicians eliminated August special election, saying interest groups often manipulatively put issues on the ballot in August because they knew fewer Ohioans are paying attention. Yes, and here we are. Who's the one that pushed the bill? Republicans. Because they know Ohioans aren't going to be paying attention. That's why I need you guys to pay attention. That's why I'm doing this live stream. So you guys know that August 8th is a deadline. We have early voting. Get in there. Get your butts in there. Vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm just going to tell you, vote. And here we are, voting in August, and just one question. Should Ohio permanently abolish the basic constitutional right of majority rule? Special interests and corrupt politicians say yes. But it just says it's protecting against us from special interests. So special interests are saying, yeah, but it says that this is to protect from special interests. Special interests target Ohio, seeking to inject their own personal views and objectives into our state's most sacred document. But this says special interests and corrupt politicians say yes. So special interests say yes on issue 1, even though it's supposed to prevent special interests. Wow, that's kind of confusing. They don't like voters making decisions, so they want to try to rewrite the rules and get what they want. Even more power. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, they don't like voters. That's why they try to undermine the elections and, put people in charge that don't need to be in charge to sit there and interfere with United States mail. Yeah, we're looking at you there. A little bit of the Postmaster General that Trump appointed. Anyway, here's why we're confident Ohio citizens will resoundingly vote no. Issue 1 ends majority rule. Means just 40% of voters can block any issue, putting 40% of the voters in charge of decision making for the majority. Well, basically it says that things don't get passed unless there's 60% of voters. Now, if there's no voters, it doesn't get passed. But if you're saying that 40% of voters can block any issue, not really. That's not what it says. It says 60%. Don't get those confused there. If you don't have what's required, it doesn't get passed. This also means it's kind of like, for conservatives, that means they got to go out of their way and get 5% of every single person's vote in each and every county. Any way you look at it, it's difficult. Because you still got to, with majority rule, you still have to sit there and, let's see here. Can we get 51% of the vote? Well, I don't know. Depends on who's feeling like what one day, Putting 4% of voters in charge of decision making for a majority. So they don't want 40% of the voters because they know that 40% means a low turnout. Like people living in the country, that 40%. Issue 1 shreds our Constitution. It will permanently undo constitutional protections that have been in place for over 100 years to check politicians' power at the ballot box. So both of them are saying that this is where it gets confusing. Both of them are saying special interests have influenced. This is to prevent special interests. Both of them are saying it's preventing special interests. Both of them are saying issue 1. Well, issue 1 protects our Constitution. This one's saying it shreds our Constitution. But they're saying that voting no would not protect our Constitution. So voting no on issue 1 would shred our Constitution. Voting yes on issue 1 would shred our Constitution. Cool. Great. Issue 1 takes away our freedom. They're both saying that. It would destroy citizen-driven ballot initiatives if we know them, guaranteeing that only wealthy special interests could advance changes to our Constitution. But voting yes supposedly blocks special interests. So now you've got me confused. Are we preventing special interests, or are special interests going to influence the Constitution? Because I can convince 51% of a population that a corporate entity is a good thing. I can convince you that the Federal Reserve should still exist. Easy. Hand people money. You give people free money, they will gladly do anything for you. They will say you're the hero. Meanwhile, you're fucking poisoning their food, their water, their everything that they hold dear. Their information, you can poison that too. But it's okay, you got a $10,000 check. You should be happy. If this amendment passes, it will apply to every single amendment on any issue Ohioans will ever vote on. You name it, just 40% of the voters will decide. You still need 60%. We all deserve to make decisions that impact our lives. We must protect our freedom to determine our future, not permanently change our Constitution to give up our rights. Vote no. Vote no argument prepared by Senators Paula Hicks Hudson. Can I highlight this? Yes, I can. Wait. There we go. Today, State Senator Paula Hicks Hudson. I want to play a Aliens clip so bad. That's Hudson, sir. I'm Hicks. D. Toledo issued a public statement after Ohio State. Okay. Hamilton, Ohio, Democratic Party, of course. And she does represent the entirety of Toledo. Well, hang on now here. Oh, this is a little weird. I like that. It just kind of like, yeah, we're gonna just chip away. You don't get the entirety of Toledo. You just get this. Oh, you get this. You get this. You know, you get all the Lake Erie over here. Because how many people are living here? Oh my God. I know our government's moronic, but damn. State operating budget. Maritime Assistance Program. Oh, well, that's the water there. Legislatively use reinstate funding for Ohio's Maritime Assistance Program, state budget during conference committee. State Senate budget. Commends passage of Criminal Rule 46 codification. Her bill with State Senator Nathan Manning, Republican, North Ridgeville, to codify Ohio Criminal Rule 46 in its entirety, protecting consistency and setting bail in Ohio courts. Okay. Issue Higher Education Enhancement Act. Higher Education Enhancement Act. Like, okay. Higher Education Enhancement Act. Apparently she's against that. So maybe we gotta look into Higher Education Enhancement Act to find out why she would be against it. Urban Agriculture Bill, which is a good thing. Provided sponsor testimony for Senate Bill 111. Her legislation established the Urban Farmer Youth Initiative pilot program to promote urban agriculture in Ohio. Yeah, well, that's what's going to be left, is all urban growing. So it's just statement after along party lines concur with the changes made by the House Representatives and joins Resolution 2, which would raise the threshold for Ohio's past citizen initiated constitutional amendments from simple majority to 60%. Well, that's issue 1. So this is one of those last pushes here. Biography. Let's find out. As the first black female mayor of Toledo. Okay, she's the mayor of Toledo. But the districting kind of goes around it. State Senator Paula Hicks Hudson has always exhibited a commitment to empowering and helping people improve their quality of life. She currently represents Ohio's 11th Senate District, raised in Senator Hamilton, Ohio. Senator Hicks Hudson often cites education a pathway to success. Subjective, but yes, it's kind of a good thing. But like I said, subjective. Nobody likes me, and yeah, I had to educate myself. So success, by what means of financial success? Basically, I'm asking is, would you hire me? Oh, you wouldn't? Because I'm not educated enough? Because I didn't go to school? Oh, okay. Okay. How's that Federal Reserve doing? She graduated from Spielman College, a historically black higher education institution for women, with her bachelor's degree in political science and journalism. Senator Hudson went on to graduate with her master's degree in communications development from Colorado State University. Following graduation, Senator Hudson and her family returned to Wilberforce, Ohio, where she was an associate director in Upward Bound program at Central State University. It was this experience Paul saw challenges that young people face with the legal system. As a result, Senator Hudson returned to law school with a focus on juvenile justice issues. Okay. Juris Doctorate from the University of Iowa. Toledo Legal Aid Society representative. Okay. In her 35-year professional career, she's worked as an assistant Lucas County prosecutor. She was a prosecutor, and what she wanted to focus on juvenile justice issues. Shouldn't she be like, assistant public defender? So she was a prosecutor, then a public defender, and assistant state attorney general. From 1998 2002, she served as the legislative director of Toledo. Now, mind you, this is back when college was cheaper, so yeah, this is relatively easy for her to do. Well, as a black woman, but still, she went, graduated, went to University of Ohio, doctorate, she's a fucking doctor. Now, this is something that needs to be said. If she's got a doctorate, this should say Dr. Paula Hicks Hudson. Believe me, that makes a big difference when you put doctor in front of your name. People see that and be like, oh, well, compared to those other dumbasses trying to promote this issue one, she's got a doctorate. Actually, let me see here. Brian Stewart's got one too, right? There was something. When there was something about him having a. Maybe it was this guy. Maybe it was this guy. Yeah, here we go. Juris Doctorate in 2010. Yeah, Macaulay's got it. Yet no Dr. Rob Macaulay. Because people, when they think, well, he's got a doctor, he's got a doctor. He means he's a doctor. Means he knows medical stuff, right? No. He's got a doctorate. It should say doctor. I don't know. I don't know what the whole what's the word I'm looking for? Aversion. Let's see here. And there was programs towards youth, well-being, and educational issues. Private law practice, criminal justice. So, yeah, these guys have some law background. They have law background, but this just sounds like an ad. It reads like an ad. Like, this reads, empowering people across Ohio, eliminating second bites at the apple, elevating the standard, shreds our Constitution. Like, it's very verbal language, very violent. It just kind of like. And I'm still sitting here confused. You haven't really stated what's going on here. So now we just got to boil it down to majority rule, democracy, or 60% Republican. So you got your choice of a democracy over republic. Your choice. We all deserve to make decisions that impact our lives. We must protect our freedom to determine our future, not permanently change the Constitution to give up our rights. Vote no. Well, we all deserve, but if 51% of the population of the entirety of the state of Ohio can sit there and determine what's going to happen, that means 49%, and let's say 38% of the entirety of Ohio lives in rural. You know what? Population. Rural population. No, or percentage. Okay, what percentage of Ohio is rural? All but 5 counties have more than 50% of their area classified as rural. 65 counties have more than 90% considered rural. Which counties are most rural in the state? What percentage of Ohioans live in urban areas? 77.9 as of 2010, so Ohio has a distinct urban influence. Ohio has 6 cities with populations more than 100,000. Akron, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Dayton, and Toledo. Shit the bed. Lancaster's not considered more than 100,000? But like I said, I was going by 100,000. Franklin County might have 100,000 people in it. Getting 5% of the voters there, not a difficult job. Getting 5% of the voters in rural areas, now you got to go door to door. It's just a lot more work. Only 12 other states have more cities of this size. It's considered rural in Ohio. Any land that isn't an urban area. According to the Census Bureau, rural land encompasses any land that isn't an urban area. Okay, so what's an urban area? Any land that's not a rural area. To be considered an urban area, a place has to have densely settled core of census tracts or blocks and count at least 2,500 people. At least 1,500 of whom must be residents of non-institutional buildings. "31% of Ohio is forested, according to Ohio Department of Natural Resources." Okay. Well, I was pretty close. But, 31%, let's say. And the 31% is rural. And everything else. Yeah, that about checks out. 31%, and then there's some percentage overlap there that's for other things. 77.9. If that's all you need is 51%, and 77.9 of that percentage lives in urban areas. It's not too difficult to get blue votes. Now, I'm not an advocate for Republicans at all. Not at all. Name me one good fucking proposal. I know they want to do away with abortion and shit, but, you know, ever since that one case of the 10-year-old, I'm not going to get into much more detail than that because it's a pretty fucked up story. And every Republican in the state said, yeah, she had it coming or something, pretty close to saying that. Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. She went to Indiana to go get an abortion because that's where she was able to go get an abortion because she couldn't get one in Ohio. And when she did, now Indiana's like, oh, we're going to ban abortion too, and we're going to go after the clinician that actually performed the abortion. You're fucking kidding me, right? Okay, Vernon Sky. I mean, we're going to be here a while, aren't we? But you guys deserve to know. And so passionately, successfully bought for medical legislation that expands access to early childhood education, higher education, more affordable, combats child abuse, and prevents high discrimination against people with disabilities. I mean, housing discrimination in any context, disabled, enabled, able-bodied, doesn't matter. Discrimination is fucking wrong. And the doors for him during his time spent in the Ohio House of Representatives. Senator Sykes has just served as Assistant Majority Floor Leader, Chair of the House Finance and Appropriations Committee, Chair of the WIC Committee and Agency of Rule Review, Co-Chair of the Ohio Constitutional Modernization Committee. See, a lot of these people aren't really your standard run-of-the-mill Ohioans that are, you know, people that go to work every day. These people are like, yeah, he went to this and that and distinguished awards and elected official league award from the National Association of Social Workers in 2012, Champions Working Families and Civil Rights Award from the Ohio AFL-CIO in 2015, Alumni Honor Award for the University of Akron in 2015. Past long experience public service. Skies is married to Barbara Skies, President and CEO of Ohio Legislative Black Caucus Foundation. They have two beautiful daughters, Stancy and Amelia, and two energetic 11 grandchildren, Hugh and Hope. A long-time advocate for redistricting. Skies was a joint sponsor for two constitutional amendments that reformed the redistricting process for Ohio State Legislative congressional maps. Amendments which Ohio voters overwhelmingly approved in 2015 and 2018, respectively, attempted to end gerrymandering and ensure Ohioans had a better represented in General Assembly and Congress. Well, I still don't feel represented, but failed to comply with historic reforms adopted by voters. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, gotta go over here. Show the map. Okay, so he's on. So that's where Hicks Hudson is at. And then over here is where he represents. Condemned state budget. Sky's condemned state budget. Sky condemned Senate budget. All right, cool. Dante. Now, I'm going to look this. I'm just gonna do this. Search. Aha, here we go. Biography. Second term server in House General Assembly in House District 1, District of Bumpus, Bexley, Berwick, Bexley, Bronzeville, Downtown, Franklinton, German Village, Milo, Grogan, south side of Columbus. Growing up in the Hugh neighborhood of Cleveland, Dontavius witnessed firsthand struggles disadvantaged communities face every day, from the lack of affordable housing to limited access to education and essential services. These challenges shaped Dontavius' worldview and ignited passion for advocacy and public service. Well, fuck me sideways. The fuck am I doing? After nearly decades fighting for rights of marginalized communities across Ohio, Dontavius determined to take his efforts to the next level. It's just cheaper for me to live stream. Because we are all marginalized, okay? We are all subjects under the same fucking capitalist ruling. We are all the same fucking fodder that sits there and does perpetual consumerism on an exponential level. And it doesn't seem like any one of these people seem to really want to, stop that. Discriminatory covenants for property deeds, remove derogatory language from the state's legal code, and bring millions of dollars back into this district in Franklin County. His tireless dedication to the constituents' commitment to building a better Ohio, being a respected leader in both in and out of General Assembly. For Dontavius' fight for social justice and equity is far from over. He requires steadfast and committed to building an Ohio where all residents have access to resources and need to thrive, where no one is left behind. That is a story. Well, fuck me. I'll just go and contact the guy myself and say, hey, you want to go build some tool libraries or something? You want to build facilities that house the homeless and get them the resources where they can be, productive, but just to still enjoy the stuff that they do. They're being productive. So that way, I know you're going to be like, well, we need to get tax money out of them somehow. And I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking cool with taxation, but, you do you, boo. That's the only reason you give a fuck about homeless people to begin with, is because, if you can get tax money out of them, then you'll start caring. Yep. Even though a significant portion of them are veterans. So I think they've done their fair share of, contributing to the country. So, there's that. Bride Rose Sweeney. And okay. I know this is taking so long. Let's see here. 3-term Democratic member of the Ohio House of Representatives from Western Cuyahoga County. Okay, Fair School funding plan that became law on July 1st, 2021. She was elected in November 2018. Pride became the first woman ever to represent her district, State House, and U.S. Democratic member in the 133rd Ohio General Assembly. Sweeney is committed to finding real solutions to the problems we face, not finding more ways to divide us. Okay, cool. She has had success passing 9 bills in 4 years as Democrat and Republican supermajority legislator. Can I call her up personally and just say, hey, I got some solutions for you. They're not going to be popular and they're going to be outside the Overton window, but, they would work. They would work because I'm literally just parroting what other people have said and have been silenced, Whatever. Some of those bills include legislation to ensure prompt pay of workers, protection for nurses being forced into excessive overtime. Great. Because, nursing and truck driving should be, on the same fucking level. Medical people should have, logs because you don't want a fucking surgeon that has, been doing this for 24 hours straight. Yeah. And reform to make it easier for students to transfer college credits between schools, helping their kids earn a degree and incur less student debt. Representative Sweeney has been selected by Cleveland.com as its Democratic Rising Star for 3 consecutive years. 2022, she was recognized by Ohio Election Officials Association's leading voice for democracy and voting rights. Cool. Give me a minute. I gotta check something. Just gotta check something. Okay, we're good. Representative Sweeney is determined to use her legislative experience to do real and challenging work of state government. 2 different minority leaders selected her to lead the powerful Ohio House Finance Committee, which crafts our $70 billion operating budget. That's all we've got is $70 billion. I mean, fuck, we could do things for like no cost at all. If you just pay people in resources instead of, money. But that's fine. It's fine. I'm just making suggestions for what is it? Real solutions to the problems we face. Fair school funding plan. Overhauling Ohio's broken and unconstitutional school funding formula. Once it's fully funded, plan will provide nearly $2 billion for public education and job training. This is a historic step towards putting news of our children first and reducing state over-reliance on property taxes that hurts our seniors most. Now, I would love to just like walk up to her and say, hey, public education and job training. Can I have your job? Are you going to sponsor me to get in there? To get your level of education? Because I mean, if I'm an activist just like you are, being an activist, being educated on top of that would be really fucking nice, because that would mean like the United States, like the American people would vote for me. It's either I'd be rich or educated. Which do you prefer? Because if I'm rich, does that really mean that I have the merits to be a representative? Well, if I'm rich and I put myself through school, because you didn't do that, the Republicans didn't do that. You think a Republican's going to put me through school? No. A Republican will put me through school if I kiss their ass and suck their dick. And just do whatever the fuck Nazi shit that they want to fucking do. I'm not cool with that. Okay, so I would like to be like an independent, I am an anarchist, so, I would like to be able to represent those kind of values when I run for office. But, it's not like you're going to help me be able to make that a possibility. I know sure as shit Republicans wouldn't. So, yeah. $2 billion for job training. What the fuck does job training mean? Oh, training for it's for going into a job and doing those 8 hours and some kind of menial labor that could be automated. But that's okay, because job training. Both sides. Fucking wankus. Committed to operating as a result of State House Representative Sweeney understands working together is the best way to deliver for working people and families. Serving different parts of the state has given her a unique perspective on different challenges facing urban, suburban, and rural communities. As a result, she's committed to offering excellent constituent service and to passing innovative, community-driven legislation that creates good-paying jobs. Oh, God. Shut the fuck up. Creates good paying jobs and ensures an affordable quality education for every Ohioan regardless of where they live. That's fucking cute. Good paying jobs. Okay, good paying job. Subjective, completely arbitrary what the fuck you consider a good paying job, because that good paying job might be a bad paying job when inflation goes skyrocketing the fuck right up. Which, of course, it's naturally going to do, because you guys are not going to be going after the currency itself and saying, hey, this currency here might be a little bit illegitimate here, considering it's formulated by one of the biggest fucking Ponzi schemes in human fucking history. We're not going after the banks, the central banks. We're not going after the Federal Reserve. Not doing any of that shit. No. We're not going to go after the source of where inflation is going to come from. Who the fuck do you think controls the value of currency? Well, the more money that's in circulation. Oh, so the more people have money, the more inflation goes up. So because people have more money, now inflation goes up. Instead of disbanding the whole fucking thing and going with a resource-based economy, like a highly educated person would suggest, because, okay, a good paying job and ensures affordable, subjective. They thought that $400 a fucking month from the Affordable Care Act was affordable. Well, if you can't afford that, we're just going to knock you down a peg a little bit. You know, you get kicked down. But hey, but he's a veteran. So, you know, he's already covered. You know, yay. He served the state interest there for a little while. So, yay. Oh my God. Affordable quality education. Subjective quality. What's that mean? Subjective, affordable, subjective, good paying job, subjective, job in itself. Great. Instead of freeing people up from the drudgery of labor, good paying job though. Still got to put your 8 hours in. You still won't be able to see your family, but it's good paying though. Are you cutting, you know, the work week down? Are you cutting hours? Still better pay, but less hours to work? No? Now you know why people are going fucking self-employed. Creates good paying jobs. How the fuck does legislation create jobs? Legislation does not create jobs. Legislation can't pull jobs out of its ass. Companies have to do that. Or governments. Either one. Somebody's got to give you money to live in exchange for labor. And this is the best we've got. Compared to a Republicans, shit for brains, fucking troglodytes when it comes to anything beneficial for humanity. One more. Jesus fucking Christ. This is the best we've got. Notice none of these people are actually leftists. These are all liberals, okay? These are biography here. Let's see. First term representing, a lot of these people are first term people. Cincinnati, Westwood, Price, Hill, Fairmont, West End, Over the Rhine, Auburn, Cuff, CUF, I don't know, is it Cuff? Walnut Hills, Downtown, Mount Adams, East End, Columbia, Tusculum, and Mount Washington. The son of immigrants, we're all fucking, sons of immigrants here. let's not try to sell ourselves too short here. It's reason to believe the unique privilege of growing up in the United States comes with the responsibility to try to be in service to others. I mean, subjective. You could have been growing up in the United States and been like, fuck it all. And State House Representative Isaacson is committed to fighting for better childhood for parents. Yeah, a lot of these people are advocates for child care, and juvenile justice, and advocating for the kids. So yeah, you can't say they're groomers, because they're actually actively trying to help out children with what resources and what dumbass fuckery that they're stuck in right now with what limited resources they have. More investments in both mental health services and extracurricular activities for young people will make sure seniors have what they need to age with dignity. He also knows we have to tackle racial and income inequality head on in order to make the lasting progress. Subjective. I mean, that's the whole income inequality thing is a moot point, considering you guys are tackling income and not necessarily resources. But have you notice doesn't say resource inequality, it says income inequality. Just because you have an income doesn't automatically grant resources. You might have an income, paycheck to paycheck. That's still an income. But do you have the means to fully utilize that income? To fully get the resources that you need to be able to fulfill your physiological needs. Subjective, entirely subjective. A guy that makes $10,000 a year, it's still an income. I would like to have kids someday. I'd like to find me a wife and kids and settle down. Subjective. You think a woman's going to go for a guy that has only $10,000 to his name? Great personality. He's got a great personality. Amazing personality. He helps people out. He just goes out of his way. But he only makes less than $10,000 a year. It depends on how well these people right here treat janitors. For me, a janitor should be the richest person in the entire facility. He says, I've got money. I'm just doing this because for the fucking fun of it. Representative Isaacson believes that we have to change the culture of our politics if we want to build a better future. True. Subjective, but true. This process starts by empowering the voices of people in the communities he serves and creating real partnerships between constituents and elected representatives. Okay. I mean, I didn't elect you because you're not in my district, but, could I call you? Could I talk to you? Well, state representative, I guess I could. Now, could I, though? Like, talk to him personally? No. I'd be talking to one of his secretaries or assistants or whatever and say, hey, I have a solution. You want to empower my voice? I live in the state. That same passion was drove him to start a successful small business, Cohere, in which committee members and decision makers together to solve problems and improve local policy. Through his work at Cohere, I mean, that doesn't sound like it should be a small business, but okay. Through his work at here, he has spent countless evenings organizing, listening to, and learning from the ideas of thousands of people about what will make their lives better. I know what would make their lives better. Completely eradicating their debt, completely eliminating every single concern, every single load of stress. That way they can go and, well, you know, go and live their lives doing the things that they love to do. But, you know, who the fuck am I? In addition, his work with dozens of government agencies and major institutions. Okay, that's all subjective. What government agencies and what major institutions? Representative Isaacson is former community political organizer for multiple campaigns across the country, including Obama and Clinton campaigns. Of course. He's also a longtime manager and big brother through the Cincinnati Youth Collaborative, and served on a number of local and national nonprofit boards. Representative Isaacson graduated from Walnut Hills High School, received a bachelor's degree from Georgetown University, a master's from Cambridge, and a JD, I'm guessing that's a doctorate from Yale Law School. Yeah, so these are all people that are law school proficient. Like, they went to fucking law school and they have doctorates. Alright, so that's done. Let's move on. Oh, God. Okay, this isn't going to be too bad. And then we'll be done. And then you guys will be fully aware of what's going on. This is still a bowl of fucking mud. But we understand what's going on here, okay? You would need 60% of Ohioans plus 5% of each county. It's a matter of you would need statewide 60%, and what is this? Oh, there's something about 5% on here, right? Where's that 5% at? A proposed initiative petition. Okay. Oh, okay. Amendment to the Constitution needs 60%. Initiative petition needs 5% of the electors from each county. So a petition needs 5% of the electors of each county. This just sounds like it sounds like 51%. Majority rule, 51%. Interest groups often manipulatively put issues. I mean, and then they're like saying currently special interest target Ohio. Yeah, so they don't want special interests, but they also don't want special interests. Neither one of them wants special interests. One just wants to make it more difficult for special interests to come and influence. The other one says, well, it's not special interest, but it's 51% of the population. So really, the special interest thing is not a threat at all. Because if you vote no, special interests are still not going to be a threat. If you vote yes, well, they said there would be against special interest, but I guess special interests be able to influence the election process because they have more deep pockets. I mean, it usually goes by who's got deep pockets anyway, but they want to make it say, well, we don't have to necessarily have deep pockets to get a petition passed. It just makes things easier. That's all it is. You have to make things more difficult, but more of the population gets a say, because a lot of people don't really give a fuck about what's going on in urban areas. A lot of people in rural areas don't even give a fuck of like the marijuana being legalized, or hell, even abortion rights. They don't give a fuck. They really don't care. Poll numbers will say that they don't really care about the whole abortion thing. They don't care about the whole transgender thing. They don't care. The people that do care tend to live in fucking urban areas. And then they're like, we seem underrepresented because we're the least educated in our group, but we want to be able to push our ideals. But they're pushing their ideas on us, which is really not pushing any ideals at all. It's just letting people live. Gee, a gay couple wants to get married. What's the fucking problem about that? A gay couple wants to get married. Okay, cool. A gay couple got married. They got established themselves with the United States government. The government's going to be inside their back fucking pockets, and they're saying, "Well, here you go. You get a little." The only thing you get is you can do some write-offs, or you get like a reduction in your taxes for filing jointly. Wow, so evil. So really, that's not even. They don't want to say it's the argument of, they just want to say it's just plain wrong. They just want to just say it's wrong. Personal opinion, it's wrong. That's it. They got no viable argument. God might get pissed. Got proof? Bible. Okay. Proof? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus came back for a reason, right? Or something like that. He was like resurrected, or I mean, if we're going by the whole biblical thing, he died for our sins, right? Yeah. Okay, then we're forgiven. We can do whatever the fuck we want now. I mean, God was such an ever-loving God that he put up this, his only firstborn son, which is really ironic because I thought like Adam and Eve were like the first people, but it's okay. We'll just that's all Old Testament stuff. We'll go with the New Testament. Okay, cool. Firstborn. Okay, cool. Then what? He had him killed for our sins. God could have stopped it, but didn't. And that's why Jesus was like, "Why have you forsaken me?" So, yeah. I think even Jesus is a little pissed at God. But it's okay, because, you're going to go by the whole, that's what the whole thing about the rainbow is that it was supposed to be a representation of, God not killing people anymore for their sins. That was the whole notion of the promise. Literally, the rainbow is on the same level as the fucking the same level as the crucifix as far as religious context here. And you're all pissed about it? Okay. Might want to open that thing up again. You might want to flip that book open again. Hey, while you're at it, look up the second 10 Commandments. All right, let's get through this shit. Joint resolution. I'm proposing to amend sections 1B, 1E, and 1G of Article 2 and sections 1 and 3 of Article 16 of the Constitution of the State of Ohio to require a vote of at least 60% of the electors to approve any constitutional amendment and to modify the procedures for an initial petition proposing a constitutional amendment. Okay, so the petition is 5%. They need 60% of your electors. Be it resolved by General Assembly of the State of Ohio, 3/5 of the members elected to each house concurring within. A special election is hereby called to be held on August 8, 2023, and such an election to be prescribed pursuant to authority from Section 1 of Article 16 of the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and which election shall be conducted pursuant to all applicable laws for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the state of a proposal to amend sections 1B, 1E, and 1G of Article 2, and sections 1 and 3 of Article 16 of the Constitution of the State of Ohio as read and follows. I can see why people don't read fucking bills. bills that directly affect us, and they're 4,000 pages long. Here we go. Article 2, Section B, when at any time not less than 10 days prior to the commencement of any session of the General Assembly, there shall have been filed with the Secretary of State a petition signed by 3% of the electors and verified as herein provided, proposing a law, the full text of which shall have been set forth in such a petition. The Secretary of State shall transmit the same to the General Assembly as soon as it convenes. What a run. No, literally, that's called a run-on sentence, but let's keep going. If said proposed law shall be passed by the General Assembly, either as petitioned or in an amended form, it shall be subject to the referendum. If it shall not be passed, or if it shall be passed in an amended form, or if no action shall be taken thereon within 4 months from the time it is received by the General Assembly, it shall be submitted by the Secretary of State to the electors for their approval or rejection. If such submission shall be demanded by supplementary petition, verified as herein provided, and signed by not less than 3% of the electors, in addition to those signing their original petition, which supplementary petition must be signed and filed with the Secretary of State within 90 days after the proposed law shall have been rejected by the General Assembly, or after the expiration of such term of 4 months, if no action has been taken thereon, or after the law has passed by the General Assembly, shall have been filed by the Governor in office of the Secretary of State. Fucking mouthful. The proposed law shall be submitted at the next regular or general election occurring subsequent to 125 days after the supplementary petition is filed in the form of demanded by such supplementary petition, which form shall be either as first petition for or with any amendment or amendments which may have been incorporated therein by either branch or by both branches of the General Assembly. If a proposed law so submitted is approved by the majority of electors voting thereon, it shall be the law and shall go into effect as herein provided, in lieu of any amended form of said law which may have been passed by the General Assembly, and such amended law passed by the General Assembly shall not go into effect until and unless the law proposed by supplementary petition have been rejected by the electors. All such initiative petitions last above described shall have printed no across the top thereof, in case of proposed laws. Law proposed by initiative petition, first to be submitted to the General Assembly. The ballot shall be so printed as to permit an affirmative or negative vote upon each measure submitted to electors. Any proposed law, there's all kinds of, I don't even know if it's redacted or just underlined and they fucked up on the underline. Any proposed, this is an official fucking document and they've already, okay, so this is crossed out. Okay, any proposed law, well, I'm going to read this. Any proposed law or amendment to the Constitution submitted to electors as provided in 1A and 1B, if approved by a majority of electors voting thereon, shall take effect 30 days after the election in which it was approved and shall be published by Secretary of State. If any proposed amendment to the Constitution submitted to the electors provided in sections 1A and 1B of this article, if approved by at least 60% of the electors voting thereon, shall take effect 30 days after the election at which it was approved and shall be published by the Secretary of State. If conflicting proposed laws or conflicting proposed amendments to the Constitution be approved by the same election by the required number of votes, it used to be a majority of the total. That's what they're kind of crossing out here. The required number of votes, the one receiving the highest number of affirmative votes shall be law, or the case of amendments to the Constitution be amendment to the Constitution. No law proposed by initiative petition approved by electors shall be subject to the veto by the governor. Section 1E. The powers defined herein as the initiative and referendum shall not be used to pass a law authorizing any classification of property for the purpose of levying different rates of taxation thereon, or of authorizing a levy of any single tax on land or land values or land sites at a higher rate or by different rules. Okay, well, this is all got to do with commerce here. Restraint of trade or commerce being injurious to a state and its citizens, the power of the initiative shall not be used to pass an amendment to the Constitution that would grant or create a monopoly, oligopoly, or cartel, specify or determine a tax rate, or confer a commercial interest, commercial right, or commercial license to any person, non-public entity, or group of persons, or non-public entities, or any combination thereof, however organized, that is not even available to other similarly situated persons or non-public entities. If constitutional amendment proposed by initiative procedures certified and appeared on ballot and opinion of the Ohio Ballot Board, an amendment would conflict with Division B1 of this section, the board shall prescribe 2 separate questions to appear on a ballot as follows. The first question shall as follows. Shall the petitioner, in violation of Division B1 of Section 1E of Article 2 of the Ohio Constitution, shall the petitioner, in violation of Division of Section, be authorized to initiate a constitutional amendment that grants or creates a monopoly, oligopoly, or cartel, specifies and determines the tax rate, confers commercial right that is licensed to other situated persons. B, the second question should describe the proposed constitutional amendment. Both questions are approved or affirmed by at least 60% of the electors voting on them, then the constitutional amendment shall take effect. If only one question is approved or affirmed by at least 60%, they're crossing out a majority and saying at 60% of the electors voting on it, then the constitutional amendment shall not take effect. If only one question is approved or affirmed by at least... okay. So... okay. If they can't answer the question, it still doesn't go in effect. If the general election held on November 3rd, 2015, the electors approved a proposed constitutional amendment that conflicts with Division B1 of this section with regard to creation of a monopoly, okay. Oh, here we go. The creation of a monopoly, cartel for sale, distribution, or earlier use of any federal Schedule 1 controlled substance, then notwithstanding any severability provision to the contrary, that entire proposed constitutional amendment shall not take effect. If any subsequent election the electors approve the constitutional... Wow, okay. The Supreme Court of Ohio should have the original exclusive jurisdiction of any action that relates to this section. So anyway, how you ever look at it, the Supreme Court of Ohio can make decisions anyway. So the Supreme Court of Ohio can trump any of this. So really, you might want to be, considering who's running in fucking the Supreme Court of Ohio. Because a lot of shit's going down with what? Somebody wants to get 6 people in the fucking Supreme Court instead of just 5. 5 is enough. 5 on either side. It just goes to show you that it only takes one fucked up person to sit there and decide the fate of the entire United States. One person can determine the fate of 360 million Americans. I'm sorry, that's not a constitutional democracy. That's not a constitutional republic. That is a fucking dictatorship. Any initiative, supplementary, or from petition may be presented in separate parts, but each part shall contain a full and correct copy of the title. The text of the law, that's okay. Supreme Court shall have the original exclusive jurisdiction. So that's to protect the Supreme Court. Full text continue. Issue a list of 85 days before the election. Petition signatures upon sheets presumed to be on respects sufficient. So this is just, okay, you can read this on your own. The underlined stuff is what they're adding. The crossed out stuff is what they want to take off from if issue 1 passes. So majority's gone, 60%. So This is what they're adding. If the petitions of signatures are if a referendum petition or initiative petition proposing a law is determined to be insufficient, 10 additional days should be allowed for the following of additional signatures to such petition. No additional signature may be filed to an initiative petition proposing an amendment to the Constitution. So if there's no amendment to the Constitution, okay. The required number of affirmative majority. Well, they're getting rid of the affirmative votes. Upon an all initiative of a supplementary, necessary file from each county's state petitions bearing the signatures of no less than 5% of the electors in the county. So that's new. All initiative, supplementary, and referendum petitions provided for any of the sections of this article should be necessary to file from each of 1/2 of the counties of the state. Petitions bearing the signatures of not less than 1/2 of the designated percentage of the electors of each county, or electors of such county, except that upon the initiative petition proposing an amendment to the Constitution, it shall be necessary to file from each county of the state petitions bearing the signatures of not less than 5% of the electors of the county. So instead of a majority, it just says at least 60%. There's nothing on here about abortion, but for Ohio to get, I mean, the thing is, you get to try and try again. Easier with majority vote. And just keep whacking at it. But when you do the whole 60% thing and have to get 5% votes, yeah, there's a greater population representation there, but shit just doesn't happen. Which means we would still be dependent on people, you know, outside of our districts. We'd be dependent on people no matter what. That's depending on whether you're going to be depending on rural Americans or urban Americans. Now you'll notice that a lot of these Democratic people here are all urbanites. They did not grow up in the country. They grew up in the city. And they were like, yeah, I don't like this kind of life. These people grew up out in the country and were like, well, we feel a little underrepresented, but we're Republicans. They're not Democrats in any shape, way, or form. This would be a whole lot different of an issue if it was Democrats sitting there proposing issue 1. Think about that for a second. Therein lies the issue. The issue of issue 1. We know what this entails. They're not telling us because they legally can't. We know what they're trying to do. We know that Democrats definitely want to make sure that abortion rights in Ohio are protected and enshrined in the Constitution. Republicans don't want that. That's why they're calling them special interests. Abortion is not a special interest thing. It's not like it came out of state as an influence. It was very, partial to the federal government. It was enshrined in Roe versus Wade. Now we got to go by state and make at least sanctuary states for, I don't know, children to be able to get abortions. Let's think about that for a minute, okay? That happened in the state of Ohio. That story is so fucking horrific, I do not want to have to repeat it on this fucking channel. It happened. And that little girl was seeking sanctuary, seeking a place to be able to safely get an abortion. And she couldn't, because she lived in fucking Ohio. Think about that for a minute. So, this is a prerequisite to make sure that when the abortion petition gets passed around, nothing changes on the Constitution. This was already enshrined in the Constitution. They're changing everything. They're redacting it and putting new shit. This is not protecting the Constitution of Ohio. This is fucking changing it. So how is it protecting Ohio's Constitution when you're changing the shit? So, yeah, just want to raise awareness. This is what's going on. You already saw who your representatives are. I would like rural Americans to be better represented when it comes to, you know, elections and shit. Even people that, you know, they're undereducated, they have no resources, but maybe they're looking for a way out. People that live in Appalachia and their only means of income were from, you know, what's now an abandoned mine shaft, and they don't really have much of anything anymore. There you go. They need better representation, but this is not the way to go about it. Okay, this is not right. So, county to county. How would I put this? If it were changed to where 51% of the vote, yes, majority vote, but the counties are also represented. So majority vote of each county. There's that. Doing a whole majority vote of each county. That would be better than the majority vote of a statewide election. It would be a majority vote of each county. The Democrats would most likely still win because of the limited population of rural America and rural Americans being predominantly Republican. It doesn't matter. Rural Americans can't really win. If rural Americans were more educated, they'd probably vote more Democrat. But also the fact that if people were truly educated, they wouldn't be either fucking party. They'd be me. They'd sit there and say, this is kind of fucked up. Why don't you just leave us the fuck alone and you know, we do our own thing from now on, instead of sitting there trying to entrust our future with the opinions of everybody else's. You know, everybody else's opinion. Does it match yours or does it go against yours? Well, you know, I guess that's the fun thing about politics is opinions change, of course, but this is not raising education standards. This is just, are we going to make things easier or more difficult for Ohioans, not Americans, Ohioans, to get shit done around here? So therein lies it. There it is. Read it again. I didn't look up any sort of, articles or anything on the whole issue. I could do that. There's some other things I want to cover. I didn't mention anything about Trump or anything, but we'll get to that one. And that one's going to be a fun stream, so we'll play a game after that one. But this is just to cover this issue. I did not want to detract. I didn't want to deflect with some gameplay or anything like that. I just want to raise awareness of what's going on. Yes, they're sneaking in an election. Yes, this is proposed by Republicans to be able to weasel their little dick in, just be able to just say, okay, here's your special election you got to pay attention to, and if you don't vote, it's an automatic yes. And I'm pretty sure that Democrats already know about this shit, so shouldn't have too much concern if you're one of those people that don't like to vote. And I can understand that. I can even respect that. Because voting means jury duty. And if you're doing jury duty, oh boy, to be the one guy in the whole room to say, hey, no. No. He smokes a little weed. Oh dear. To be the one guy in the room and say, hey, maybe we should go by the Norwegian model or something. What are we going to do? Throw him in jail? Now I got to pay for him for the rest of my fucking days. Okay, cool. We could do the Norwegian model and maybe, like, I don't know, get him the help he needs or something. There's that. But, yeah, that's just my 2 cents about everything. So, vote, don't vote. I did best I could to let you guys know what's going on. So, with that, is Midnight Mechanic signing off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. Share the video, do all those hoops YouTube wants you to jump through. And yeah, let's have a more fun stream sometime soon. I don't know when. Shouldn't be too long, actually. I do want to get back to live streaming again. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to see you guys real soon. All right. Good night, everybody.